Hi, Jimmy.
Good morning, Ed. I came down to see you the other night, do your one-man show. I think it was in Torrance or wherever it was about a month or two ago.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That was very nice.
Well, thank you.
I was thinking about your career that is so attached to Johnny Carson and to Budweiser, and someone said, please have Ed come by for the sweepstakes because they're always doing that.
That's right.
Are you surprised at how people still remember these very important things that you were doing?
I think so. It's like, it's very flattering that, people have hooked on to all these things. But, my pal Phil Hartman, who was a great performer, kept a lot of that stuff alive, imitating me. And, it's just, I don't know how to say that. Imitation, they say, is the greatest flattery. Mm-hmm. If someone imitates you, that's kind of a very special thing.
I've got the whole box set of all these different Carson shows that I periodically go back and review and enjoy, and they still hold up. I mean, funny is funny no matter what goes on, and I know that you run some in your one-man show, and they have to bring back some really wonderful memories, and so glad that you've got them where you can see them.
Well, it's great, and the audience, when they come to see my show, they tell me they walk away. It's like they just saw The Tonight Show again. And, I've got a whole new audience because kids now hook on to the show, and I go through airports and I look over and here's this little kid looking at me, and I'm saying, what in the world is he, why is he spending so much time looking at me? And I don't get that, that transfer of the generations right away. But there it is. He's seen The Tonight Show. He's seen a tape of the show, and all of a sudden, I'm somebody he knows, and it's incredible when I go through an airport now.
In your career, and you're very unique in that I know that people must come to you and think that you're their long-lost uncle or friend.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've spent so much TV time with you. They act like they know you, and it's kind of odd for you sometimes, I'm sure.
Well, it really is, and I'm an old pilot, so when I get on an airplane, I always go up and say hello to the pilots. I ask permission. I don't go up there until I get permission, but I say, may I go to the flight deck and say hello to the pilots? And of course, they let me go up there, and I say hello, and they know all about me. And, it's so flattering to me that they even know that I was in the military, that I, flew a fighter plane, all of those things. They know that. And, it's just wonderful. I mean, what a life I've had. I'm very lucky.
Who taught you how to be a star, how to be a good star?
Wow.
I think Minnie Pearl around here told a lot of us how to greet the public. If you don't feel like meeting the public that day, stay home.
Oh, that's exactly right, and that's my attitude. My attitude is no one forced me into this business. I'm lucky enough to have a career in it, so I want to spread that joy around as much as I can. And I do. I say hello to everybody. I take every picture. And now I guess everybody in North America now has a camera. They have their phone camera. They have some kind of a camera. So I take all those pictures. I shake all those hands. I wave. I get a high five from little kids. 3 years old give me high fives. I don't know why they do that.
Mark Miller lives here from Sawyer Brown, and we've got Leanne Rhymes that lives near our television station here in Nashville.
Sure.
And you certainly had a big part of some of these Nashville people. And I know that had to be kind of rewarding to see how your Star Search people turned out.
Well, I love that. I mean, I love that. And, you pick up the paper, you pick up the trades. Every day there's something in there about somebody came from Star Search. I hear about Beyonce. I hear about Usher. I hear about, Christina Aguilera. I guess you heard Britney Spears has been in the news. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you may have heard about that. There was some mention. There was some mention of her the other day, I think. Britney Spears. Somebody said that name. Anyway, I look at all these people, and I feel kind of a kinship, like a godfather to them, and it's a wonderful feeling.
One last question I've always wondered. How did that relationship, when did it ever change? You started out just being an announcer on the show, but you end up being a sidekick. At what point in there when I was watching did that kind of roll over and your role kind of changed?
Well, what happened was, we had done a show called Who Do You Trust for 4 years before tonight. So, it really happened in there when I became, like the very first day, I walked over to hand him the questions. Now, there was a comic strip in those days called Mandrake the Magician, And Mandrake, the magician's right-hand man, was named Lothar. And Lothar was a much bigger guy than Mandrake. And Mandrake, always had Lothar to help him. So when I walked up with the questions, Johnny, the very first day, jumped in place and said, "Lothar, you startled me." Well, that was the beginning of 34 years of working together. And I right then became a sidekick.
And then it became just a whole family with Doc and Tommy Newsom and the whole deal, and it was just really, that was one of the unique families of television, but you don't really hear it referred to much as a family, but on the air it certainly was.
Well, a family watching at home likes to see a family, and Johnny Carson, like I was a big fan of Jack Benny, so when he saw, how great that family worked, now we never discussed this, but this is my surmising, that he said, "Let's have a family," and we had a family.
I guess, were you Don or Rochester?
I was a combination of Phil Harris and Don Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it was wonderful seeing your show the other night. Brought back a lot of great memories. You've got more books and tapes and stuff going. You're a regular Walmart.
That's very good.
But it's great to see you again, and come see us in Nashville. You're always welcome here. We love having you come by.
I love Nashville. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye, Jimmy.